What is up? Welcome back to another video. We haven't had a video out in quite a while. I just been kind of doing things in the background, just getting the car back together because it's getting pretty redundant having so much stuff going on of the same stuff. Like I keep doing engine swaps and that kind of stuff gets boring. So I've been leaving a lot of that out. But today what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get an oil cooler mounted on the car because I really think that's going to help keep our temps down. And I'm going to go ahead and use our Road Fab bender. I got me a Road Fab tubing bender. And we're gonna go ahead and try to make it like a little radiator support. I gotta pull the bumper off to get the oil cooler mounted up where I want it, but we're gonna jump in this and hopefully have us a good day. Next Monday, we're going on a dyno to get tuned and get everything done with the car, get it running properly. So we're gonna get these last few little things knocked out and jump into it. So let's go get started. Future project here. So keep your eyes out for that. But let's get started. So what I got right here is a Road Fab tubing bender. I've done a lot of research and my buddy Cricket from Drift HQ, this is what he uses and he loves it. So this is actually what I bought. I've done a bunch of research on this and I'm not a fabricator by no means, but I do want to learn how to do this stuff. So I'm gonna get this thing unpackaged and get it all unwrapped. I did go buy a little bit of metal. I did mess up and order the wrong type of die for this machine. This is an 1.25 inch pipe or tube, and that's the die we got for it. I actually need to order an 1.5 inch for doing like roll bar stuff. Like I was gonna do a harness bar for the vet, but I think that's too small, be an 1.25 inch. But we're gonna use that for stuff like a bash bar and stuff. Something that ain't too strong, that has a little bit of support, but isn't gonna completely destroy the frame if we hit something. So I'm gonna get this unboxed. So this thing is pretty damn nice. So Road Fab offers this in a few different configurations. They got it where you can build it yourself and then you have to have it powder coated or painted. I went ahead and had this one built, welded together, which I really wanted to do a video of putting these together. There's already a bunch of videos of people doing it. It would have been a cool project to do, just to do, but I opted for this because that looks sick. And this is a die for it. Like I said, I went with a 1.25 inch with a 4.5 radius, which is pretty common, but I wish I would have went with the 1.5 because it's more common to use 1.5 tubing on stuff. But we're gonna make this work for what we need for our radiator support. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check the instructions out. You got this big turn plate that goes on here. This thing actually takes an air over hydraulic ram that we don't have, but I do have one on my engine hoist that I'll probably rob for a little bit because I don't think nobody has them in stock anymore. So I'm gonna go through and go ahead and get everything unwrapped and get this thing put together. Like a 9-degree bend to me. All right, so this thing works pretty well, but I've already made a rookie mistake. I got my 90-degree pipe, I got my spring back figured out, but it's supposed to be a test piece so you will know how many inches it took to make the bend, and dummy me didn't even put the measurements on it. I was so excited to get this thing bent, I didn't mark it out to be able to tell how much it took to make this bend. So I guess now I'm gonna waste some more pipe. I'm actually gonna mark out, I'm gonna leave a little bit, that way I'll have something to measure off of, and then I need to know how many inches it took to make the actual bend for this with the center line radius that we are using, which is 4.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and get me a ruler, mark out probably 1 through 7 and do another bend. And I had a buddy give me this cart, he was gonna throw it away. And I'm never gonna throw a roll cart away, even though it's cheap. This is probably gonna be the setup. Leave it on top and use the drawers for different dies. And better put my test pieces down there. I think this is nice because this thing is heavy. So being able to roll it around is gonna be super nice. I was gonna actually build something to put on it with wheels, but this just makes more sense. It's got drawers and yeah. Let's get this test piece knocked out. So now that we got our test bend piece, cheater pipe, what a lot of people call it, right here I can see is where our bend started. So this is the first mark is 1 inch to here. Right around here I can see is another, right where I made my first bend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It takes 7 inches of pipe to make the 90-degree bend. So from there up, you can measure what you need. From here over, you can measure what you need. So now I need to go ahead and figure out what I need. What I'm doing is simple for the vet, just a radiator support, kind of like just to protect it from getting hit. So I know what I need is between each frame rail is 34 inches. So I'll take the measure out 34. And honestly, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just going with the flow. We'll do this kind of inline. I'm gonna measure out 34. Now to be in the center of our tube. 34. Right, so we're gonna imagine this is our Corvette frame rail. So I'm just gonna use this flat edge, kind of flat, close enough. I'm just gonna line my tube up with the center. And mark it over here. And right here is the end of this test pipe. That marks, and now since I know what it takes to make this, all I have to do now is measure how many inches in between here, which is 9 3/4. So we're just gonna go 10 because I left a little playroom in between. So now we know we need to add 10 inches to 2 of these. So all I have to do is know how long this pipe is, add 10 inches in the center, and we'll cut our pipe to length, do our bend, and should be good. All right, so it called for 46 inches of pipe. I went ahead and done 48 to give us an inch or so on each side to trim down. So go in here and mark out where I need to put my puller and go ahead and do a bend. So did I mention I was not a fabricator? I absolutely suck at math. I'm not even gonna lie, I would admit that. But I almost made the piece I needed for the Corvette. Let's take a look at it. So when doing my measurements, I cut myself short by 3 inches. I needed to better put my clamp block right where you see these scratches, but I run out of pipe on that end to better pull it through the die. So essentially I have a expensive piece of pipe that's no good, but you learn. So what I was actually doing is I'm coming from the frame here down and around the radiator to kind of protect it because it hangs down. That's not flat with the bumper. We should be good. I did the last event without anything and done good. But that's my oil cooler. I'm actually gonna take the bumper off and we're gonna cut this stuff here out and tuck it up in there and mount it. That way it's right in front of the license plate holder. So it's gonna get good air to be able to keep the oil cool. So Aaron from Lone Star Drift kind of dissed long tube headers on Corvettes because they're burning up stuff. Which these headers have been on this car for a long time and never really burnt nothing. As you can see, I used a newer Camaro starter that has this big, nice heat shield. You can't really see it. But it actually covers all the wires, and all the wires near the headers are heat wrapped very well. That's my oil cooler. And you can see the oil cooler lines are wrapped really well right around the headers. And it's actually hailing outside. We got bad weather coming. So yeah, that's where we're at with this thing. All right, so learning has cost me a little bit of money. So I guess in the morning I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go to the metal supermarket up in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I get my metal from now, and get us another piece of that pipe. And we'll come back and we'll try again. So I guess I'll catch you in the morning. So from now on, when I buy metal, I come to Super Metals because they just have a lot of stuff at a pretty good price. And being able to hit that $1 scrap bin is pretty amazing. A lot of the stuff I get out of there that I might spend $20, $30 at for just one little piece at Tractor Supply, I'm getting here for like $1 a pound. So it's pretty crazy. So I'm just sitting here kind of calculating things. I want to make this next bin be the one. So on Rogue Fab's website, they have some really good like calculators and good explanations. Something I should have looked at beforehand. But pretty much you put in your tubing bender, your leg length. I went a little long, and like it will spit out exactly where you need to put your clamp blocks to start your bins, how much tubing you need to make these bins. I mean, this is what I should have done yesterday, and I probably wouldn't have wasted a piece of metal. But it's a learning experience, and I'm happy to be doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much give me a 50-inch piece of 1 1/4 cut off and start marking it out. All right, so there it is. I actually did it. Now I'm super excited. Show you how it goes on the car. Got these plates cut out. I'm gonna weld to the frame, and then this tube ends are gonna weld straight to it. So as you can see where I got it marked out, it's gonna go there. I still got to trim this up. My legs are a little long, and then yeah, this is coming together. Super excited about it.
On deck, Junction qualifier to Nova versus Kyle the Menace Bowman. We come back.
I'm not a fabricator at all. I'll never claim to be, but it's turned out pretty good. The old Rogue Fab tubing bender did super nice. I wanted to mount my air dam, and I really didn't know how I was gonna do that since I got rid of the factory radiator support, but I took and bent me up a piece of pipe, hose clamped it on, and where if I get hit too hard here, it'll roll under, not damage anything, and it'd be easily changed if I need to change it. So now I just need to get this thing painted up, get the bumper on it, and get everything back together. All right, so that's gonna do it for this one. Next video, I'm probably gonna put the MSD two-step that I ordered on it, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that and use that as a rev limit. And I might go ahead and get the passenger seat put in, but appreciate you watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.